Capital Tiger Bay are proud that we didn't pay, but he came to play anyway. Please welcome Peter Schorsch.
Your invoices just went up. But the journalism that you are reading and watching is completely different than what it was a decade ago, 2 decades ago. In 2000, there were more than 100 reporters covering the legislative session. In 2010, there were 40 reporters covering the legislative session. Going into this session, there's about the same amount of reporters, but the majority of those reporters work for news organizations that are subscription-based and are really only affordable to the legal, lobbying, and public affairs firms looking to influence the session. The journalism is for those who can pay for it. To keep track of the Capitol Press Corps, you don't need a guide from the House Clerk's office. You need a missing persons report. This is the first legislative session that you will not have reporting, full-time reporting, from Steve Bosquet, Mark Caputo, Rick Flagg, who just got laid off 2 weeks ago in the middle of session with no notice. Mary Ellen Class, yeah, a lot of you may not even realize that yet. Mary Ellen Class or Adam Smith. That's 165 years of journalism experience taken out of the equation. Now, I don't blame the reporters, not at all. Florence Snyder, who I know a lot of you all know, she always would tell me, don't blame the reporters, blame the editors, blame the bosses. And so I do blame the corporate overlords, not for making hard business decisions, but for making bad business decisions. Political journalism, good, solid reporting from the campaign trail to the Capitol could be a moneymaker. Yet the USA Today network, which owns, among other newspapers, the Tallahassee Democrat, sent one of its political reporters to Louisiana to cover news there at the beginning of the legislative session. The USA Network has still not replaced the single Capitol reporter it had that was representing the Naples Daily News or the TC Palm. Gatehouse, which owns big newspapers like the Jacksonville Times-Union and the Palm Beach Post, and they employ a great reporter, John Kennedy. But let me tell you something, what Senate Appropriations Chairman Rob Bradley tweeted out. And this was a remarkable conversation that happened in real time. And I know a few of you aren't on the Twitters, but if you want to find out what's really going on, sign up, because people like Rob Bradley say these things. He was talking on, I think it was the Sunday that a big Associated Press story came out talking about news deserts, where that there isn't a newspaper within 25 miles of a small town. He says it's not, this is his tweet, so it's not perfect English. It's not just small towns. Our region has 0 reporters in Tallahassee for session. Session started on Tuesday. I don't think Travis Cummings, at Aaron Bean, at Travis Hudson, or I have spoken to a single Times Union reporter about it. Occasional, untimely AP News Service of Florida stories, reprint in the TU is it. This is the chief budget writer in the legislature, and he is saying no one from the newspaper in the state's largest city has come to talk to him about, this big issue, the $90 billion budget that he and his Clay County compatriot, Travis Cummings, are about to write. Every bill, is a story, Every amendment filed is a story. Every appropriation is a story. If I had enough reporters, I would write a story about every bill, amendment, and appropriation. This is how you know the Capitol Press Corps is broken. It is the KCOM survey, and it is say that we are the #1 outlet for lawmakers' information. Not only that, our email, Sunburn, which goes out at 4 a.m., which I know this crowd is absolutely up by that time. We're #6 also. There are people that literally say they go to the throne and they start the day reading that 10,000-word screed that I put out every night. And I think that is very indicative of what's wrong with the press corps. I never wanted to be #1. I shouldn't be #1. We're not authoritative. I barely copy edit, and yet we're #1. But the 160 lawmakers up there carving up a $90 billion budget, they start their day reading our Sunburn, and they go to bed checking our Twitter account. And if that doesn't scare you, I don't know what does.